Greetings from South Korea. I am Arirang News AI anchor. Here is the news-making headlines today. President Lee Jae-myung hosted a gathering of South Korea's top business leaders at the Blue House on Wednesday to discuss boosting regional growth and jobs for young people. Acknowledging that their efforts have helped put the domestic economy back on track, the president said the next task is to ensure that the benefits of growth are shared more evenly. For that, Lee urged business leaders to expand job openings for young people, pledging that the government will increase financial support for employment and training programs run by businesses. He also laid out plans to expand budget and infrastructure investment beyond the capital, calling on companies to shift away from capital-focused growth. South Korean Trade Minister Yo Han-gu said he believes the Trump administration is weighing whether to officially publish planned tariff hikes on South Korea in the U.S. Federal Register. Yo told reporters ahead of his return to South Korea on Tuesday local time that Seoul is committed to existing bilateral agreements with the U.S., following talks with key government, congressional, and industry figures on the issue. He also said he held closed-door meetings with around 20 U.S. lawmakers, where he outlined legislative steps to support U.S. investment and stressed that bilateral commitments, including in non-tariff areas, are being upheld. The trade minister had been in Washington since Friday of last week for a series of meetings seeking what he called a mutually beneficial resolution to the latest trade tensions. South Korean Foreign Minister Choi Yeon met with U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio at a closed-door meeting in Washington, D.C. on Tuesday, where he reportedly asked for planned tariff hikes to be reversed. This comes as the Korean government seeks to resolve issues after U.S. President Donald Trump warned that tariffs on Korea would be hiked from 15% to 25%. After the meeting, South Korea's foreign ministry said that Minister Choi Yeon urged Secretary Rubio that there will be swift and substantive implementation of the November joint fact sheet, especially in nuclear energy, nuclear-powered submarines, and shipbuilding. The deployment of high-level trade figures to the U.S. reflects the deep concerns in Korea over tariffs, which could disrupt operations at Korean companies. South Korea and the U.S. are considering suggesting a specific timeline for the handover of the wartime operation control at their annual defense talks, the Security Consultative Meeting that will be held in October this year in Washington, D.C. According to military sources, the year 2028 is highly likely to be a target schedule given that U.S. President Donald Trump's term is set to end in early 2029. Once the two allies complete the verification of the FOC, that is now in process, their defense chiefs are expected to suggest a specific timeline for the last phase, full mission capability, at the upcoming SCM. As part of efforts to get ready for the OPCON transfer, the two countries are reportedly planning to hold their annual springtime joint exercise Freedom Shield from March 9 to the 19th, without any downsizing. South Korea's foreign reserves declined for the second consecutive month in January, as authorities continued efforts to stabilize the weakening won amid rising exchange rate pressures. The Bank of Korea said this morning that reserves stood at $425.91 billion at the end of January, down $2.15 billion from December. The central bank mainly attributed the drop to market stabilization measures, including foreign exchange swaps with the National Pension Service. This follows December's decrease of $2.6 billion, which marked the first decline in 7 months after 6 straight months of gains. As of late December, South Korea ranked 9th globally for foreign reserves. That is all from me today. Thank you for watching.